Good day everyone, my name is Navneet Anand from aajKal Local and Global. Today here in Bella Vista studio we've got Mayor for Parramatta, Honourable Donna Davis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you Navneet, it's a pleasure to be here.
Before I proceed, Lord Mayor for Parramatta, Donna Davis, tell us something about your childhood.
Well, I actually grew up in Tasmania. I moved here to New South Wales when I was 18, 19 to come to university, and I stayed. Like many people, they come here to New South Wales to study, and I fell in love, and I started my career and a family and remained. So I've really become attached to where I live. We've actually lived in the city of Parramatta for 28 years, live in Donnas Valley. Yeah, and have two sons, adult sons now, so really feel a part of the local community.
I landed here in Australia 27 years ago, fell in love with it. I came here as an international student as well, but ended up staying in this country and calling this home as well. What a wonderful place to be in.
It is, and just like you you have those ties to where you were born and the connection, and my mum and my brother and other family members still live in Tasmania, and I really enjoy going back there, and I still feel really attached to Tasmania, but I've found Sydney to be my home and Parramatta.
So when you said you came here to study in New South Wales, what is the educational background that you took into?
So I actually came to do a Bachelor of Arts and did my honours in history, and then from there I went to work in the public service, and I've pretty much worked in different public service roles throughout my working career. My husband and I also have owned a small business at one stage, so I know the challenges of working in a small business and owning a small business. And then, of course, have brought up our children here. So, yeah.
I think sitting at a very influential and responsible position that you're in at the moment, but having an experience as a small business definitely gets you know other side of the table and the pains what one goes through.
Definitely. It's the challenges of the red tape that are really difficult for small business, and I think that it's that promotion, it's the networking, it's understanding all of the complexities around owning a business. And we really felt that. We owned a small business here in Sydney and one in Melbourne, and those challenges of operating across two different states, the different regulations. Yeah, it was very complex, and it really did give me a very good understanding of what people do go through on a daily basis, and particularly during the last few years where things have been even more complex.
The area that you represent, Parramatta, it's a CBD in itself. The way this has progressed in the last 2 decades, what I could see, the growth of the population has been there enormously well, and the multicultural society that we are living in. How do you plan for the infrastructure to be there in the coming 10 years?
So as a council, we do work fairly closely with the state government in terms of advocating for what is necessary. We don't always achieve what we're wanting, but we do actually identify what the needs are. At the moment, for example, we have a live document called our Community Infrastructure Strategy, which talks about what we have already existing within our city of Parramatta that supports our community and what we need. And that digs down right to things like dog parks and libraries and community facilities, sports facilities, indoor sports and outdoor sports, passive recreation spaces. So we do a lot of work and a lot of strategising about what we need to deliver in terms of infrastructure. And then we use those documents to advocate to the state government and also to the federal government, who are the ones with more of the funding.
So how far are we in getting this light rail finalised and operational?
So light rail stage 1 is into the second part of its progress. So the line is all complete, but now they need to construct the stops, and then there will be a very, very long period of time where they will be testing the vehicles on the entire route. So there still is a way to go yet. So the disruptions are still quite real for some time, particularly for those business owners in Westmead and the CBD. Parramatta Light Rail Stage 2, there's been an announcement of a commitment of $600 million. That's to build the bridge from Wentworth Point to Melrose Park and to do early works, which means the road works that need to be done on either side of the bridge. But to actually build that light rail, if we compare it to the existing one, it's going to be billions, well in excess of 2.5 billion, and we don't have a commitment for that money yet. So as a council, we're going to continue to advocate for that, because Melrose Park is going to be an enormous suburb, over 11,000 dwellings, and we already have a very substantial population in Wentworth Point and of course across the whole of Olympic Park.
Parramatta is being restructured the way the major metropolitan cities are. So I call that a CBD away from CBD itself. Talking about construction, what I could see is a wonderful building called 5.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
What a building. Tell me more about it.
It is a beautiful building. It's been designed by a world-renowned architect, French architects. It joins the Parramatta Town Hall, which is really one of our most beautiful buildings in the heart of the CBD. And 5 sits in Parramatta Square. And for those that may not know, Parramatta Square is right in the heart of the CBD. It's adjacent to the train station. And 5 is going to be our new public building.
Right.
It will house our council chambers, our library, community facilities and exhibition spaces, and our heritage centre. And as well as that, when the town hall has been redeveloped, it will actually serve as a venue as well. So we will have an enormous array of bookable spaces for the community. Whether or not you want a recording studio, you might want to come and do a podcast in the middle of Parramatta, want to come and do yoga or host a meeting, or you may want to get involved in some of the programmable events that we have. It's going to be a fantastic place, and I sort of see it as being the living room of the city, because it's there for everybody to be able to enjoy and access. The library is such a well-regarded library, particularly for our children, and we're going to expand our storytelling so that we do that on a daily basis. And the library and facilities will be open into the evening. So it's going to be a really great place for people to go and meet, to learn, to socialise, to have a real sense of community in the heart of the city.
When I talk about Parramatta, I always look forward to have one of a big function centre where we can host 700 to 800 people, like the awards what we did around 3 weeks ago here in Stanhope Gardens. So we would be looking forward to one of that as well in the near future.
Yes, that's something that's definitely on our radar. It's something that we may be able to achieve in a more auditorium style with the redevelopment of Riverside Theatres.
That was my next question. When we are talking about Parramatta and we don't talk about Riverside Theatre, my interview wouldn't be finished yet. Let me know more about the Riverside Theatre.
Okay, Riverside Theatres is one of my passions. It's such a well-regarded theatre complex, and I know that it's very well loved by our Indian community across Parramatta and Western Sydney, because it has the opportunity for people to use it for community events. And we know that our city has outgrown our theatre. It's been serving us for over 30 years. Beautiful building, but we want to actually be able to provide a lyric theatre that can attract those big international musicals. And we need a theatre that's got over 1,300 seats to do that. So our plan is for a lyric theatre of around 1,300 seats to retain the Riverside Theatre in its form with the 730 seats plus, and then have another theatre that is a 400 to 450 seat theatre, a small cinema, but the really important part of this is that we need rehearsal spaces.
Absolutely.
And that's something that we want to achieve in this new redeveloped Riverside Theatre. So we've got a significant amount of the money and we're pushing both levels of government to try to achieve some more.
So how far are we in achieving the target?
So we're well over 2/3 of in terms of the money. We're looking for around $40 million more to be able to see that development achieved. But we're continuing to work on the design. Council has approved that process, so we've basically said, let's keep this project going while we're turning those wheels and designing the building and doing more detailed design. We'll keep pushing for that additional funding, and the council is committed to doing that.
I think what all Parramatta has got to serve the community living there, or probably the communities who are living around areas, and when they enter this particular space, they feel like, yes, this is what we need to be having in Parramatta City itself. And having the Riverside Theatre would be definitely a feather on the cap itself.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really important that we as a city pitch ourselves as a destination. You know, that's what we are. And it's the CBD in conjunction with Olympic Park. We've got amazing facilities in Olympic Park, not only sporting facilities, but other arenas. And we've all been to Kudos to go to see concerts. And then we've got what the offerings we have in the CBD with the stadium, the Future Riverside, the Powerhouse 5, and a whole range of other smaller venues. I think it's really important that we improve that connectivity between the Olympic precinct and the Parramatta CBD so that people that live and work in both of those areas can get to each of those parts of our city much more easily.
You know, talking about Olympic Park, recently I've been told about a beautiful facility built up by UNSW Cricket in Silverwater itself. So this is what I'm going to feature in my coming episodes in the near future itself as well.
Yes.
Talking about Parramatta, multicultural society, number of ethnic background people living in there. I wouldn't be able to wrap up my interview if I don't talk about the community grants from Parramatta Council.
Yes, so we're very proud of the fact that we provide grants to our community in a whole range of different areas, whether or not it's sport or community volunteers or cultural grants. At the moment we've had a range of cultural grants that are available, and all the details are on our website for people that want to apply. But we have a rolling program of grants throughout the year. Some of them are small. We have, up to 2,000, and then we have much more significant grants as well. And the whole premise of these is to ensure that people that have small projects that they want to deliver in their community can actually achieve that. And it's something that we feel very strongly about, and ensuring that we promote that to a greater group of people than every year, so that more people are aware of what the offers are. In the past, we've been able to deliver some great grants in Harris Park, focused on telling the heritage of the Harris Park.
Little India, that comes to my mind when we talk about Harris Park.
Yes, and in terms of Little India, Council is really passionate about Harris Park and supporting the businesses in that area. It really is a hidden gem, and we want to make sure that it shines and that more people know about Harris Park. That's why the recent announcement by the federal government and the new federal member, Andrew Charlton, for $3.5 million will really help us to beautify the streets, to make them safer, light them up, and to look at some of the issues around parking as well. And on top of that, our council is really committed to big events, and we will be funding Diwali and ensuring that we've got some really great relationships happening with businesses and the local community. and councils so that we can deliver great events that bring people into the city. 'Cause I keep using that word destination, but I'm very passionate about Parramatta being a place that not only people want to live in, but that they want to come to work in, but they want to come to visit. Whether or not they are coming to work as well from somewhere else for a short period of time, we want them to actually stay in Parramatta and enjoy all that we have to offer, because there's so much to do.
And looking at the passion in your eyes the moment I talk about Little India, I think it is going to be a charm not only for the Indian heritage people to come and visit, rather any of the tourists coming from wherever, which part of the world is, for them it will be a point to visit as well.
Yes, and all cities need different elements. Whenever you go to a great city, there's different parts of that city that you want to explore. Of course, you want to spend time in the heart of the CBD, and people will also want to go to Old Government House and Parramatta Park, Lake Parramatta, different parts, but they also want to go and experience those other little suburbs and areas that have really got something to offer. And Harris Park is that one area in Parramatta that people that go there for the first time say, oh wow, we couldn't believe it. Don't know why we didn't know about this area before. And for me, it's all about the Peshwari naan.
with the chicken or beef vindaloo with that.
That's right.
Look, thank you so much for giving us the insight for the overall development of Parramatta, and you being passionate about looking after all the citizens of Parramatta Council itself. What a wonderful conversation I had. Sincerely, thank you so much for visiting our studio.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
जी हाँ, आज हमने की पैरामेटा लॉर्ड मेयर डोना डेविस से बातचीत और मैं आपका नवनीत. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Navneet. Thank you.
One-stop answer to your Australian education and visa matters. Gemco Sydney. Dream big, achieve big.
Fiji Times. Be with the times.